allons démarrer avec le premier talk de la soirée. C'est Storytelling Made in Nigeria. Et pour modérer cette conversation, j'aimerais inviter sur scène une femme. She is known to be generous, available, extremely supportive of young African initiatives. She is a pioneer in the world of media in Africa and around the world with an award-winning platform, BellaNaija. She's with us tonight all the way from Lagos. But before she gets on stage, Oh, okay, she's coming. Wait. Please, guys, watch this.
Vous connaissez déjà le média en ligne BellaNaija, mais est-ce que vous saviez qu'il était plus vieux qu'Instagram?
Interesting.
Nous devons cette création à cette jeune entrepreneure nigériane avant-gardiste Uche PEDRO, qui a commencé BellaNaija comme un passe-temps à l'université en 2006. Grâce à son leadership et à sa vision, BellaNaija est devenu le média de référence en Afrique sur le lifestyle et le divertissement et cumule plus de 200 millions de vues chaque mois avec ses différentes branches. BellaNaija Online, accès news, BellaNaija Style, accès fashion et beauté, et BellaNaija Weddings qui valorise le mariage et la culture africaine. Uche utilise sa passion pour le digital pour impacter et éduquer sa communauté et la prochaine génération en multipliant les actions positives et inspirantes en faveur des milléniaux et de la génération Z. Uche PEDRO est avec nous pour la 6e édition des ADICOM Days et si tu ne la follow pas déjà, fais-le dès maintenant.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome to the stage the Queen of Media, Uche PEDRO! Come on! Hey! Welcome!
Thank you so much, Sophie. Bonjour à tous. And I would continue speaking French if not for Kemi. I'm just speaking English only for her sake. Yeah. I am so honored and excited to be here today. In 2018, I was here on this stage, and now I'm back, and I'm not back alone, but with amazing creators from Nigeria. And I have the honor of inviting somebody on stage, but I need your help. Who sits down and comes up with characters like Makanaki, Odogu Malay, Eniola Salami, King of Boys, Kemi ADETIBA. As Kemi comes on stage, I'll tell you a bit more. How can somebody, Kemi has had a career from radio to music videos, to TV presenting, and now a director. And for each one, she was at the very top. Excellent all through. I'm so honored to be having this discussion with her today and give her a resounding welcome, please.
C'est Kemi ADETIBA. Et même si tu ne connais pas son nom, tu connais forcément ses œuvres, car elle est la réalisatrice des blockbusters nollywoodiens qu'on ne présente plus, The Wedding Party 1, Oh God, King of Boys,
God's worst punishment in a person.
ou encore King of Boys 2, The Return of the King.
I have decided to join in the race to become the next governor.
Sa passion, sa créativité et son travail acharné ont fait d'elle une figure incontournable du milieu cinématographique au Nigeria. Kemi ADETIBA est l'une des meilleures dans son domaine et pulvérise les records œuvre après œuvre. Netflix, Channel O, MTV Base, Sound City ou encore BET, aucun géant de la diffusion ne lui résiste.
That is correct.
Kemi ADETIBA est avec nous pour la 6e édition des ADICOM Days et si tu ne la follow pas déjà, fais-le dès maintenant.
Hi everyone, nice to meet you.
Amazing, Kemi. I have known Kemi
Uche,
for...
before you start,
Yes.
you made me a promise.
What?
Easy questions only. You promised.
I only promise to speak English. I can't promise this easy questions thing. I've known Kemi for, I think we met, it may be like 20 years ago. And I'm still in awe. still in us. Such talent. So storytelling is our theme, and we mentioned some of the characters that you've created. When you hear the words, it starts with a great story, what does this evoke for you?
It starts with a great story. It starts with a great story. So for me, I think the basic foundation of anything is the storytelling. Well, the characters, the story. By the time you take it to visual with the cameras, that's the lipstick, the eyelashes, the mascara that you put on. But if you don't have a good foundation, which is a core story, if you can't open up the book and read it and it grabs you and it's intriguing enough, then you have no business taking it to set. So you are absolutely right. It starts with a great story. For me, it's days, months, sometimes years of toiling, because thinking up a concept. So you can have, it would be a great idea for a man. You want to tell a story about a man that gets shot in America. Okay, there's so many things that happen in between. How can you weave all those things into 2 hours that is gripping enough for the audience? Because the audience, if you don't catch them in 2 minutes, that's the end of it. So there's a lot of pressure, because remember, I'm a writer, director. So everything that you've seen of me so far, even when I was doing music videos, the concept came from me. So it's easier as a director when I'm the writer, because I'm able to essentially take this thing from words to visual. It's easier for me because it's my story. But yeah, the foundation, if you have a great story, then you're more or less likely to have a good film.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for that. So I was on Twitter this morning, and I saw a tweet from you, and just within seconds, that tweet was on blogs, it was on people's Insta story, people were retweeting, people were engaging. You've been able to build a fandom that rivals that of global fandoms, like, we watched Black Panther yesterday. You have the KOB army. You have a community, an engaged community. Tell us about how that came about and that journey.
That's a very intricate one, because half of it is consistency. Like you did mention, I've been in the business now for about 22 years, and I started from the radio. I moved to in front of the camera. Then I got intrigued enough and I moved behind the camera. And at one point as well, I was a club DJ. I used to DJ in the clubs, but let's not talk about that. But what was very important was in each of those roles, making sure that I dominate. But then when it came to building the KOB army, it wasn't like I said one day, I'm going to build a KOB army. Remember, I just gotten off Wedding Party, and Wedding Party had broken the record. It had broken the box office record. It was everywhere. And for me, especially at that time, I was still very hungry. I'm still very hungry, but I still needed to prove myself. I thought I wanted to prove myself. And Wedding Party, I was a hired gun. It wasn't my production. They hired me as a director. Now I have this crazy story that is like a Nigerian gangster movie. You have a middle-aged woman as the main character. I had this crazy script that, when you break it down, it's like 3 hours long So everything was against it. But now, this is what I did. So you have that. Everybody already is looking at what's the next thing that I'm going to do. So you have the initial attention. How do you hold it? Now, I remember when I went to production meetings, I told them, look, I don't want to come off, because I'm coming off Wedding Party, of course. But then I don't want to come off like this big gun that's coming. I'm coming with the film. I'm going to kill all of you. I said, no. We need the public to be able to root for us. We need to come in as the underdog. I am the underdog that wants to sit on the king's table. Now, this was my first production myself. I wasn't going to come in with an ego. So I said, look, even when we're putting out pictures from set, I want to carry first of all, I said I want to carry everybody along. Because the best way to get people to root for you is carrying them along. So even from the name, I needed to catch the attention. I came up with the name King of Boys. Everybody's like, King of Boys, King of Boys. King of the Boys.
Epic.
King of the Boys. No, not King of the Boys. It's King of Boys. And how I came up with the name is in Nigeria, in some of in the hood, you know, when you have like the area boys, the street boys, they always have one person that rules the district, street by street. And then I used to go shoot documentaries and things like that, and they'd call that person the king of boys. Now, if we went to a place and we didn't want to have any trouble there, we'd ask automatically for the king of boys. And once he was settled, nobody came to disturb us. So people were giving me all sorts of names, area mama, they all things like that, and nothing sat. And I said, do you know what? We're going to call it king of boys. So automatically that caught attention. So it caught attention, and I remember the first thing that I put out for king of boys was the screenshot of the script. From the very beginning. How many people do that? So literally the screenshot of the first page of the script, and all is said, King of Boys, written by Kemi ADETIBA.
I remember that,
You
actually.
remember?
Everybody went wild, like.
And then, so all of this is just coming, so I put that out there. I remember I wasn't intentionally trying to do anything. I just was carrying people along. And also, I was holding myself accountable because I wanted to do something that was very different. And remember, I was very scared. So I was essentially investing in it with the public. Because when I put it out there, you're always going to ask me, where's King of Boys? Where's King of Boys? So I put that out there. And the second thing, I went on Canvas, and I created the logo myself. So if you go back there, because I needed something that will remain in people's minds. People remember jingles from, I mean, if I start singing jingles for like back in the day, Maggie, everybody would start singing, or, you think signature things. So I went and created the first King of Boys logo. Now, what we have now is a refined version of it, but if you see, the first thing I put out there was the exact same thing. Now, in the production meetings, of course, you're going to be taking pictures. I said, I don't really want professional pictures out. I want pictures, and I don't want, when you're bringing out pictures from movie sets, they have the logo, boom, at the, I don't want it overly doctored. Just give me very natural photos for me to put out to the people. Don't put the logo on there. So essentially, people didn't feel overwhelmed. People felt part of the process. I felt accessible. King of Boys felt accessible. And I think the most important thing is I didn't compete with the title. I didn't compete with the project. I was already coming in with a name myself, but it was important to allow that to breathe. So when people are talking, I'm like, it's me that did it. No, it's King of Boys. Like, so everybody's talking about King of Boys, go on. So I arrested the attention. So by the time it got to premiering the movie, everybody's attention was there, whether for good or for bad. You had people that wanted to see it fail. You had people that wanted to see it do good, but they wanted to see it. And now the most important part there that created that army is delivering. Because now everybody wants to see what's going on. Everybody wants to see if it's good. Everybody wants to see if it's bad. It's delivering. Now, remember, I have this, I've spent so many years doing this thing from radio, television, and things like that, and by God's grace, I have dominated. Now, this was from my own production company. I needed to make a statement, and then when we came out, and then it did so well, then that's what it is. People believed in it.
Woo! What a story. Now that you're talking about this, there was so much anticipation for this movie. Just imagine having this big campaign, and everybody's like, okay, let us see this movie. And people saw it, and then everybody just went wild. Everybody went crazy. They're like, you have to watch this film. Like we had people going to see the movie 6 times. So it was almost like, and we had people cinema hunting. So like, okay, where are they showing it? Let's go. Do they still have tickets?
Content. So we didn't have, for instance, I overshot my marketing budget. So I didn't have money I basically had no money for marketing. So everything came off my social media. But because people were so personally invested and so personally involved, they were creating content for me. So people would go to the cinemas, and let's say sold out, they would take pictures of themselves being refused tickets. Or they would take videos of themselves being refused tickets. People would take videos of themselves standing in line to be able to watch the film. And all I was doing was retweeting. And then also what I would do is when people, because that's the thing about it, like when you go watch a movie, and you enjoy the movie, what's the first thing you want to do? You want to share it. You want to share it with somebody. You call a friend, you call your mother, you call somebody. But guess what? What if you're now engaging with the actual person that created it? It's like, oh my God. So they'd go online, they'll go on Twitter and start talking. I would search for King of Boys, and I have discussions with them. So people were feeling seen, They felt that and they also felt that I was appreciating them. But the main thing was starting with product. I created value. So essentially, starting with a product that they could go out and talk about. People were bringing their parents in to go watch it. So it just blew up.
Amazing. So we have a lot of creatives in the room, and I hear from your story a lot of owning your power and just breaking down the status quo and just doing things differently in your way. I would like you to just draw from either, your present career as a director, writer, filmmaker, or other parts of your journey. Like, what can you share that the audience here can take away that they can actually just build upon?
In what capacity?
In terms of owning your power and that creativity in your journey that led you to be at the pinnacle of so many things.
Okay, so I'm going to be slightly subjective in this. I don't know, maybe it's because of how I felt when I was young. So I had very low self-esteem when I was much younger. And then when I got into this space, the thing that kept ringing in my head is, I can't fail. I don't want to fail. In anything, I will not be a failure because I will never feel the same way I felt when I was much younger. So the difference between me and another person is that I will go that extra mile to get this done. Success is easy, but are you really willing to do the work? I say your work is a business card into the universe. When I first started off, especially as a director, a lot of people thought I was a boy. And I said, that's fantastic as long as the money is green and it's coming to my pocket. You can take it whatever you want to. But it's being consistent and doing the work. I will kill myself to be able to bring these things to you. I cry, I bleed, I'm working when I'm feeling sick. I'm going the extra mile. I'm putting heart into the project. And that's what you're seeing. I could shoot with a camera phone and it still grab your attention because there's a spirit in there. I'm essentially throwing my everything in there. There are places that, okay, everyone goes, I want to do this, I'm going to do this, I want to do this, but they get to a place, oh, this is too hard. See, this is the difference. I'm going to still cross that Rubicon, I'm going to go to the other side.
Wow.
You want to say something?
Wow.
So if I'm going to say something, it is, look, everybody is always going to get a chance to get there. It's just that it might not be convenient. So when you're faced with that moment where it's inconvenient for you to do it, and you have the choice, what is the choice that you're going to make? There are things that I sacrifice so much to be able to do this. Like I sacrifice so much. KOB2, I shot it in 2020. And for the first half that's the year I turned 40. And the first half of the year, I was deathly sick. I almost died. And 6 weeks later, I was on set shooting KOB2. A lot of people said, let's just take the year out. But I said, this year, I am going to do it. And I came out of the hospital. I took 2 weeks, and then even when I was in the hospital, before I was in the hospital, when I didn't feel nauseous and I could sit up, sometimes I'll be on my side and I'll be typing, writing the script. When I came out of the hospital, for 2 weeks, I rewrote the entire script, then called everybody after 2 weeks and said, we're going to set in a month. And then I shot it. Now, remember, going to shooting a film is like going to war, especially shooting in Nigeria where the infrastructure is not as developed as Hollywood. But then it was a choice. I said, I am going to get this thing done. And then there's so many days that I was like, why? Why did I do this? Why did I choose to do it? But the analogy that I use is, it feels like you're in the middle of an ocean when you start. And then the distance back to shore where you started is the same distance to where you're trying to go. If it's the same distance, I might as well keep going forward, right? Absolutely. So when I'm in that space, in that headset, because guess what? I'm also human. There are many times I want to give up. There are many times I want to cry. So I would take a moment, go into a room, cry my eyes out, be frustrated, then come back again and go, we got to get this shit done. Excuse my French.
Wow, thank you, Kemi. So we've covered so many things. We've covered that resilience, that grit, that delivery, that creativity. So I have 2 questions to round up. One is monetization. we have a lot of people around the room. Some could have hundreds, thousands, even millions of followers, let's say TikTok, let's say Facebook, let's say Instagram, let's say Twitter. However, that monetization eludes them at a certain level. You've done pretty cool stuff. I remember the last audition for KOB2, there was some infusion with a brand, like a digital audition, and of course, you know, things like Netflix deal and things like that. So what monetization advice can you share for creators?
Create value. I mean, so there are a few steps even to creating value. So the first one, because, okay, let me just go back a little bit. Being observant. Now, I'm speaking to you. There are things I am getting from you that you do not know. I'm a filmmaker, I'm a creative. Look, we have like we have Sydney here, we have Annie over here. And then these are amazing social media influencers. He's a comedian. And Sydney will tell you the greatest comedy comes from things that are around you. Being observant. When you have like some of these TikTok things where they do the African mother, and then let's say it's the guy doing the African mother, and then they wear the wig and things like that. The reason why it's funny is because you can relate to it. There's an African mother in your life that acts that way, but they're exaggerating it. Do you understand what I mean? The second thing is turning it into entertainment. I don't care what it is. A lot of people sit on, people need to know this. This is something that people should hear. It's good for the world. Yes, fantastic, but then if nobody wants to sit through it, then you're doing it for yourself. You might as well just create it and put it under your bed. A spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. So you create entertainment, then you force people to sit down and listen or watch what you have to say. Creating value. Create something that I want. Don't say, oh, this is so fantastic to me, you should like it too. No one cares. The first rule you should understand, no one owes you anything in this world. No one owes you anything in this world. And as much as of a creative way you want to create for yourself, you have to also make it palatable for everybody else. Now, sometimes the people you're creating for don't even know that that's something that they need. You have to show it to them. You create value. So you create something that's valuable. When you create something that's valuable, people are very interested in it. And then when you create something that's valuable and they're interested in it, then you have to deliver. Once you deliver, you've caught attention. You deliver the second time. By the time you're going to the third thing, all people have to do is just see your name there. I don't care what it is. I want to watch it. Sydney now, or Annie, look, if I'm watching and I just see Annie's blonde hair, I'm scrolling through Instagram, I pause because I know this is going to be good. More chances than not, it is going to be good. Why? Because he's been consistent in doing and creating good content. So I would say for monetization, you have to catch the attention. To catch attention, you have to create something of value. To be able to create something of value, you have to be observant. So that's basically what it is.
Thank you so much. I'll add this. I know that two things. Kemi is very organized as well. So, in getting these big deals, yes, when it comes to her business, because, with the creative side, organized, and she's a tough negotiator, as you see her. So I'll add those ones to your tips. So finally, just to round up, you're Nigerian, obviously. Audience for your content is all around the world, all around Africa as well. So I would say, what's next for Kemi on the continent and also global?
I want to take over the world. But okay, so I'm going to go back a little bit. And initially, when I first got out of film school, you come with these very lofty ideas and you want to create this. I didn't get a chance to make a movie. I came out, when I got out of film school, I didn't get a chance to make a movie 2017, for almost 9 years.
Patience.
So, but then guess what? I got chances to do music videos. Now, if you remember, so I couldn't do a movie because you remember I was a presenter. People were still very skeptical and going, what is this present? I was big as a presenter. People were comfortable with me as a presenter, but directing, especially directing that people saw at that time as a man's job, I had to prove myself extra hard. So that pivot over there, I didn't get a chance to be able to make a movie because people were skeptical. So what I did, I got chances to make music videos. And what I did was turn those music videos into mini movies. So essentially, you're not giving me the big cake, but this small slice, I'm going to show you what I can do. I'm not sitting there going, oh, nobody wants to allow me to do a movie. No one cares. So I'm taking those little music videos and turning it into movies. It now became my signature. And I started doing that. Now, but when I came out of film school, I had this thing. I wanted to create this movie. And then the only thing in my head was like Hollywood. And I'm very glad that I didn't get the automatic chance to make a movie because I needed to learn about myself as a filmmaker and as a creative. And I had to realize that I am a Nigerian filmmaker. I am an African filmmaker. And the onus is on me to be able to push African stories. So eventually, when I got a chance to do the wedding party, and if you have watched it, I did wedding party 1, not wedding party 2, but if you watch it, it's a very, very typical African story. It's an African. The reason why it resonated with people is because the mother, everybody probably has a mother or auntie or someone like that. So for me, I have owned my space and now recognize what I'm supposed to do in this world, and it's to push African stories. The greatest vehicle to teach the world about yourself is through movies. Let's not be, even during wars, they use it for propaganda. When, during is it World War II, what is the Hitler one? Like, they were creating movies of themselves. They would literally ban all sorts of other media and create films where they're dominating and killing all their enemies. Do you understand what I mean? Before anyone travels, if you watched an American movie and you saw snow, you knew it was white. Do you understand? And you knew it was cold. But even before you touched it, do you understand what I mean? If I say snow, who knows what snow is? How many people know what snow is? Even if you've never seen it before, put your hands up. Because of the movies. Wow. And then when they go, oh my God, it's so cold, and you're going to a snow fight. So anyway, for me, as a filmmaker, I want to push African stories. I want to tell about our own snow. I want to tell about the way, a lot of times, like, so for instance, crying or showing love. Yeah. We don't cry like in Hollywood movies. We don't show love like in Hollywood movies. If we want to cry, an African mother wants to cry in an African movie, she will and then go up and then smack herself on the ground. That's the way, they're not overacting. People go, oh, the actor is overacting. No, that's not overacting. That's the way we show trauma and emotion. If it's love, we don't go, oh, baby, flowers. If it's an African man, he's like, what are you doing now? Oh, yeah. And then leave me, Joe. You know, that's the way. So I want to teach the rest of the world about our own stories. So for me, it's world domination. I'm not keeping it in Africa. I want to be the next Spielberg, the next Quentin Tarantino. The next I want people to, I think they're running out, but I'm going to say one more thing. Let me round up. Do you want to say one more question?
No, you round up.
Okay, I'm going to round up. So now, speaking on this, what is the next thing for me? I was just talking to my husband a few days ago, and I think that was the first time I said this to him, but I've said it in a few interviews. One of my greatest dreams is that decades from now, they're in a classroom somewhere, and the teacher comes into the classroom and has the board, and then takes the chalk or whatever digital way that they're doing classes at that time, and writes on the board, Kemi ADETIBA. And it's not for anything bad, nothing salacious. And they said, this is who we're going to talk about today. Wow. And the impact on culture, and the impact on film, and the impact on, on cinema. And then a little kid is in the back of the class and points and that's my great-grandmother. That is actually a big dream of mine.
Oh, thank you so much, Kemi. That was amazing. Please, another round of applause for Kemi.
Thank you guys so much.
So grateful. And watch out, world.
Oh,
she's
my new
here.
movie coming, To Kill a Monkey. You got to watch it. And also KOB 3 is definitely coming.
Woo! Thank you.
All right. Uche PEDRO and Kemi ADETIBA, ladies and gentlemen, please. Make some noise for them. They're beautiful in yellow. I had goosebumps with that story. Oh my God. Oh my God. That vision of your great-granddaughter or son watching your name or seeing your name on the board. Oh my God. This is what we call vision. C'est ça qu'on appelle la vision. Est-ce qu'on peut appeler encore bien fort pour elle, s'il vous plaît? Ce que j'ai beaucoup aimé aussi dans le discours de Kemi, c'est quand elle a dit qu'elle a trouvé sa voie, quand elle a su qu'elle veut être une storyteller africaine pour raconter les histoires africaines, parce que très souvent, on utilise mal nos histoires pour nous représenter comme nous ne le sommes pas. Donc c'est notre responsabilité, je pense, à chacun d'entre nous de savoir raconter nos histoires. Donc merci encore à Kemi et à Uche. Elles sont venues tout droit de Lagos pour cette 6e édition des ADICOM Days. Merci pour ce partage généreux d'expérience. Alors,